皆さん、こんにちは。久しぶりですね。It's been a very long time, YouTube. Very long time. I was on my channel today, browsing through some Japanese videos, and I was like, let's. I just randomly checked on my page, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't posted a video in 2 years. And I watched them back, and I was like, wow, it's my first real journey with Japanese. So yeah, just touching base on that. It's been 2 years since I posted anything. That's quite a long time. A lot of things have changed in life and everything. Went through a few crazy life changes. I've moved all around our country in Canada here. I've now I'm a new father. I have twins, a beautiful fiance. Life got crazy. But yeah, so when we left off with the Japanese journey, we were trying the AJAT method. For the time being, it was amazing. I was retaining the kanji through RTK, remembering the kanji, making your own stories for remembering what the kanji are. I remember the last one was like, what was it? Rice field. I'm a huge Dragon Ball nerd, and I think it was like, for remembering rice field is like Goku's dream job is to work in a rice field. And it's like, how could you not remember that? Obviously, it stuck in my brain 2 years later. Still remember that. So yeah, I was doing that method for a while. I was doing the Anki decks and everything, making new cards, finding pre-made decks. I was pretty much finding as much methods as I can to help my Japanese and see how far I could take it. I unfortunately did not make my Japanese goals, and I fell off hard until about, say, 6 months ago that I started picking up again. I've been kind of going backwards to see what I remember, where I'm at, what I need to work on, and everything. And yeah, so I'm just going to talk about that and go from there. So I've been using this app called Lingo Deer for the past, like I said, 6 months. I used it when it first came out as a beta. It was fantastic. It's a great app to start off with. It left you wanting more. It was very informative on, hiragana and like katakana, even kanji. Now, back then, it was kind of like iffy about kanji. And then they added new updates, and they've made the app probably one of the best Japanese learning apps that you can get on the market, for sure, 100%. They go into very in-depth, tips and lessons on grammar, a lot of like sentence structures, which ka to use or to, de, ni, when to use those. And it's like very descriptive in how they teach. And I feel like getting back into Japanese, that app helped so much. And I highly recommend it to everybody who is, either stuck where I was, and you're trying to remember where you're at and what you need to learn, or if you're a fresh Japanese learner, hands down the best. I know it's not free. It's free for the first like 3 lessons, I think it is, and then in Canada here it's like $10 a month, or it's like $23.99 for 3 months. Highly recommend it. Honestly, it's worth every penny, every cent. We don't have pennies in Canada anymore, so I can't say pennies, but it's worth every cent on that app. And there's always brand new updates on it too, so they're always adding new content to make it even greater than it already is. Yeah, that's one thing I've been using. I'm still grinding out, watching a lot of anime, listening to almost strictly like Japanese music now. I can understand some of it, so obviously something's working. That's sweet. a lot of like jazzy, kind of like 70s Japanese music with some Japanese metal, a lot of Japanese hip hop and J-pop, J-rock, all of it, and it's really helping a lot, immersing myself into that. I'm watching a lot of Terrace House. Highly recommend watching that if you're learning as well, because they teach you the proper ways that Japanese is spoken, not just through textbooks, not through audio courses, not through apps. Some of that stuff is like super keigo. Keigo is very polite form Japanese, but you don't always want to sound keigo because you'll come off as a foreigner. And our goal in learning Japanese is not to be like foreigners. We want to, be like Japanese people. And yeah, that's one thing I've been doing. I've been using Pimsleur recently. Pimsleur. I've heard it so many times. There was a guy on YouTube called Ikenna Kobi, or Ikenna Obi, I think his name is. Fantastic YouTuber, honestly. His tips on learning languages has helped me motivate myself quite a bit and getting back into it. Like I purchased his book, Fluency Made Easy. It's definitely a fantastic read, and his method is pretty much foolproof. It's straight up simple. Just listen and immerse, man. That's it. Immerse yourself. That is the key. Immerse yourself. Listen, listen, listen. Speak. Watch as much stuff as you can. And they'll help you out a lot. But yeah, so I've been using Pimsleur recently. I was like, it's just one of those apps. It's just not going to work. But, upon like going through, I'm on the 11th unit now. And, it actually works pretty well for like an audio spaced repetition system. It helps retain the knowledge you keep in your brain a lot, because they'll say, listen to this Japanese conversation. And they'll start off with Japanese speakers being like, Sato-san, konnichiwa. And I say, repeat after me. Sato-san, konnichiwa. Are very interactive with the app itself. And, the more you speak, the closer you're getting to sounding like native pronunciation. Because, that's also very important. I watch a YouTuber called Dogen. He teaches a lot of the pronunciation, and he says that it's one of the most important things in Japanese, and I cannot agree more. Because, like I said, our goals are to sound as native and as Japanese as possible, and these key elements are so important if you obtaining that goal. But yeah, Pimsleur is pretty cool. I was like doing my schoolwork in the background because the whole coronavirus thing. So I have online school, and I put on Pimsleur in the background, and I'm just listening, and it's crazy. I'm like understanding like English. I can hear it, and it's coming across very clear. So obviously it's working, and I'm a big fan of it. And honestly, give it a shot. It's worth it. There's a free trial right now. It's like 7 days, and then obviously you gotta pay for it afterwards. But that 7-day trial I tried out, and I was like, this is worth it, 100%. But you can't just use that as the main course. You have to use Pimsleur, watch as much Japanese media, anything you can, listen to as much Japanese stuff as possible to immerse yourself. Even think, if you're like going to the kitchen and you're hungry and be like, onaka ga suite imasu. 何を食べたいですか? What do I want to eat? You force your brain to think in Japanese, and you'll actually surprise yourself at how much you actually know until you're like actually using it. But yeah, so my next steps is just to keep on riding that out. I'm gonna give myself I'm gonna say about a year until I reach the level I want to be at. Right now I'm about intermediate. I would like to be fairly higher. I was thinking about doing the JLPT exams and everything, but I don't know. It just seems like a farce. It's like a bragging rights. Oh, I have my N1 in Japanese. But can you actually go out there and speak confidently and fluidly? That is the most important keys. And I want to be able to read my Japanese light novels. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And let me know where you guys are at with your journey. And message me anytime. And maybe give me some advice if you have any advice for learning as well. See ya.